Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining me today for a theoretical question, which is always the best kind. This one is from Mark, who says, let's play the game. If I had a monster box of silver, what would I have in it? Now, for those of you who don't know, what he's referring to is a box that the US Silver Eagles come in. See, it takes up your whole screen. That's how big it is. This holds 500 Silver Eagles, but they have spacers in it. So actually, this box has extra space, so we can put a lot of stuff in this box. He goes on to say, would you have generic silver rounds, tubes of 1921 Morgans, mint products, mixed BU? So now, he didn't give me a lot of parameters, so I'm going to totally cheat on this because this reminds me of something I actually had a customer that had experience with. I had a customer whose father had given him and his siblings all a box, and he used these. This is kind of akin to if you only had one box, if you're collecting by volume, right? So if you had one slab box, so you could only have 20 coins. Well, the difference here is with a box like this, you can put a lot of stuff in this box. And obviously, if you're just talking about value, then you just stack it with gold. And then you find out later you can't move it because it's very heavy. If this was full of gold, many of us would not be able to move this box, right? So let's get down to some of the nuts and bolts about what I would put in here and then what you would put in a box like this. And I will tell you, I will start with the story of my customer who had a box like this. And in that box, most of the space was taken up with silver. That was the majority of what had been accumulated and put into the box, and it was tubes of silver eagles. Also, each of them had 2 tubes of gold maple leaves. So that was 20 ounces of gold, which in today's terms is a lot of money. That's over $50,000 currently, right? So 2 of the 10, they have the 10 stacks of 10, right? So we had 20 ounces of gold. Then they also had certified diamonds, and this was the most fascinating part, where they had 4 single 1-carat diamonds, but they were higher grade stones. So back in the day, when I started doing this, I use round numbers for stuff, and some of you are in the gem world and you're going to cringe, but let me just tell you from my perspective what I've seen. Back in the day, a 1-carat stone would wholesale for $1,000 to $1,500 for an average stone, and they'd retail for $2,000 to $3,000 maybe, right? So these stones all wholesaled for $4,000 a piece. In other words, we had diamond buyers who were willing to pay $4,000 for a single 1-carat diamond because of the grade that they were in. So this is the same way with coin collecting. If you get a coin that is the finest grade available, it may be tenfold the cost of one grade down. They also had one more item, and that was a 4-carat diamond that was certified. So one of my favorite stories is this because it's that concept of the treasure trove box. So it makes me kind of think about, what would you put in here? Are you putting it in the box for yourself? Or are you putting it in the box for somebody else? And that may change the answer of what you would put in the box. What do you want them to find in 20 years or 30 years when you give it to them? Or is it just something for yourself? He doesn't really say, are you trying to beat inflation? And really, his story here sounds like he's mostly just talking about silver versus silver. I'm not going to answer that question, but I'll do this again some other time with that specific question. But here I'm going to talk about what I would put in a box that fills up this type of volume. One of the things that I'm going to go with is a variety of things. Probably not the diamonds, just because they make those in labs way too easily nowadays. But definitely, you're going to have an amount of gold. Am I getting limited on my price point, Mark? He didn't say. So, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to be like 1804 silver dollar. Okay, I want to, but I'm not going to. But I would put in some currency. I think that any box like this, if I'm giving it as an inheritance, should have a $500 bill, a $1,000 bill, some national banknotes of kind of whatever your lineage or heritage is, right? And so outside of that, for US banknotes, I might pick 1 or 2 classic notes that have done really well over time that are popular. I might pick my favorite note, which is the $1 educational, But really, I'd probably go ahead and look at some of the ones that are more popular even beyond that with the masses. So I would probably pick a $5 educational, maybe a Chief and a Buffalo. Those are both very popular notes. And that would be some of the stuff that would be the highlights in there. So I'm picking items that are purchasable, and items that are not six-figure items. And a lot of those items are $2,000 or $3,000 items. But we're just talking in fantasy land, so let's have some fun. I would fill up probably about half the box with silver in the form of rounds or eagles. I would stick with gold maple leaves because I just love maple leaves. I can't tell you why, but for gold, I would put in gold maple leaves. And then assuming that I have a good third of the box left for numismatic items, this is where it gets super tricky because all of a sudden, when you get down to numismatic items, what are you going to put in there, right? Are you collecting for yourself or for the future? Well, if I'm doing it for somebody else, I'm probably once again going to go with what is the most popular coins, and that is going to be certified, key date coins. So 1909 San Francisco minted cent with the Victor David Brenner on the back, so an 09 SVDB, a really nice three-legged buffalo, maybe a nicer Carson City dollar that's popular, 1916 D dime. These are the staples of the US coin market, and these are things that I would have in there. Now, I would also have some ancient coins. I would absolutely have the standards, right? The Athenian owl. I would probably, just because it's something I enjoy, I would probably also include some type of electrum. So those are the little gold coins that are half gold, half silver, that are some of the earliest coins issued. These are amongst, to me, the most fanciful idea of coins of all time. They're just the most iconic thing for me. And I would probably also include maybe something with Caesar Augustus on it. And I would have to go medieval. I have to get medieval on you guys. I would absolutely have to have some thalers in there of some kind. Whatever type of thaler, it could be something super esoteric that's just wild looking, something that has, skeletons on it, maybe a pretty city view. And then to round it out, now this is actually me cheating back towards, I'm waffling back and forth between for me and for someone else. If it was a little bit for me, I would definitely include some coins that just have eye appeal that's off the charts, that may not be expensive coins, but I've got to have something fun to look at. At the end of the day, I want a box that someone's going to open up and see a coin that has toning they've never seen before, or a specific type of coin that is super unusual to have toning on. Just something that has off the charts eye appeal, whether it's just something that's off the charts. That's it. So to not answer the question, and I'll do something just on silver some other time. But if I had a Munster box and I was filling it probably for somebody else, you're going to have a blend of things. And if you watch my channel, you know already, I'd have a blend of things. All right, guys, what would you have to have in your box? Thanks so much for being here. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.